No, I'm on Armed Fisherman.
He's on Armed Fisherman. So, everybody, what we're going to do is we're going to grab that link right there that Catman put in here. You guys are going to jump over there. You can see he's live right now. I'm live, but we're going to end this one, and I'm going to say that we're going over to Soloyaker. So I'm going to edit this title. I'm not a Soloyaker, but Armed Fisherman. Hold on just a second. But go to that link right there. You guys leave here. Go see him because we're going to talk about his day today.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have a good time with this. It's gonna be a good time. So what up, my man? How you doing, brother?
Nothing. I didn't mean to get you up like this, but I was like, man, I wanted to do live. There was nothing going on here. Head to, what is it, Armed Fisherman? I got to put your link in here. You got anybody join you?
San Joaquin Audits, what up? San Joaquin Jr., if you're in here, what's up? I'm very happy to see all of you. Our community is only growing day by day, and it's only getting bigger.
My numbers are dropping, so that's good.
Yeah, well, you suck as an auditor. You're not very funny. Like you got to be more funny when you're doing your audits, dude.
Oh, okay. That's kind of like, yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand.
No. Come on. I'm just joking with you, bro.
Dude, I'm trying
don't be so hurt.
I'm trying to get you subscribers and people to come over and actually watch your stuff. If you had audio like the guy that was doing your interview today, then you would be golden. But no, you always have wind noise.
Hey, that's not.
I've got it saved.
What's up?
I've got it saved. All right, we're going over to Soloyaker's channel. Links in the description if you don't have it. He's live right now. I'm headed over there. All right, we'll go over there.
Dude, it's so awesome to have San Joaquin Audits in the chat right now. Like somebody that is just like I wish I could be like him in how he takes his audits. Unfortunately, I really don't like when my rights get violated, and I seem to just spew out the mouth sometimes. So
we'll do better audits then, and could you be able to get those that squared away?
I'm working on becoming a First Amendment auditor. Okay, I watch your channel all the time, and I learn so much, but you're just not funny.
It's all right not to be funny.
Come on, man. You know you're funny. You're funny.
Did you make barbecue?
Lackluster in the house.
Did you do? Here, bring my other phone in there, okay?
All right. Because I want to see your ugly mug. That's what I want to do. Hey, Lackluster, stay tuned because we're going to talk about this. We're going to get into it real quick because what happened today was completely insanity. Yep. But I see Mr. Madison's in his Tesla, and I like it. I'll buy 5,000 right now. Sold.
Okay. Now I can't see chat. Let me jump up to chat. Things like that. But yeah, so what you did today was by Bay, what is it? Bay Harbour? Bay Harbour.
Bay Harbour, yes.
They promoted your event. They're so dumb. I mean, it's not even an event. They promoted people that love 2A coming in and hanging out. They promoted it.
Yeah, they helped me out. And the weird thing is that we got a lot more support today than we got some thumbs down, but we got a lot of support.
All right, yeah.
And that's what I would say about all of this is that there was a lot of support.
All right, I've got the chat up here. All right, so there we go. Yeah, so they don't realize that, I mean, none of those people down there, if you know there's a lot of names, and if you're from the northern states or something like that, don't take offense to this, but a lot of people come from northern states, come down here and bring their same firearm policies here, and basically want to be like, you can't do this and you can't do this. And if you look at them, their names are like Rossi. What was the guy that arrested you there? What was the officer's name?
Kanalkis or something.
Kunis?
Kunis.
But the guy, I'm sorry, in Port St. Lucie, they arrest you and says, no, you can't do it. It was like a Rossi or something like that. And
they're all New York implants.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not trying. There's a lot of people like Kevin from Florida Carry that likes firearms, and he's from up north. But you just see that very similar thought like that is like, all right, here's a guy from New York or up north, and then boom, they're like, they want to do everything, violate your rights, and add more laws and things like that. And not all of them are like that. But going back to what Bay Harbor did, Bay Harbor stuck their nose in something that they should have not even done. How many residents are in Bay Harbor? Tiny amount.
Dude, the island couldn't be more than a few hundred square yards. Like, it's such a small little. It's an island that you just you're like, you drive over a bridge and you're in and out of that thing in like a minute.
Yeah, and see, that's what we're talking. Basically, it's a bunch of rich people that decided to put a guard shack out, and then the guard shack wasn't good enough, so then they're like, let's make a police department, and that's what it is. That's exactly what they did. All these towns, Golden Isles, I can't think of all the ones that are down there, but Golden Isles, Ball Harbor is a little bit bigger, but
Creek Island. We're gonna let me really break it down. It was Bay Harbor, Bell Harbor, Creek Island, Surfside, and Miami-Dade County. Five different departments, a handful of departments, all in conspiracy to try to see if we would do something wrong. And then, like, at this point, I'm going to take over. This is what happened. When we left the parking lot in Surfside, which I don't know. Like, I don't know Miami from nothing. We leave, and the parking lot we're at is adjacent to a synagogue. Like there's only a street separating us from a synagogue. That synagogue had they had three people with AR-15s at the synagogue in body armor, thinking that we were about to go shoot up this synagogue.
And that's the fear that a lot of people have put into them when you have people out there going and fishing and things like that and carrying firearms. But synagogue people are typically armed to the T anyway, aren't they?
Oh, typically. I don't see why they wouldn't. They've even in history, their Second Amendment right is crucial to protect themselves from what has already happened to them in history. And that's what I was saying. Like, and I don't disagree with how they approached it, but the weird thing is that I actually talked to somebody that I gave them my phone number and told them to call me. I told them directly to call me and say, hey, my goal is not to harm anybody there. Like, I was forthcoming about a lot of things. I didn't tell a lot of people, but I'll tell everybody right now, I did talk to Surfside PD because that was the only city that I would have talked to. And I talked to him, and I was like, hey, this is what's happening. And then they informed me about where I was going was next to this synagogue. And I was like, well, and then they were like, hey, we'll give you a police kind of escort across the street away from the synagogue. And once after that happens, basically in Bell Harbor. It only took us 3 minutes. It took us 3 minutes to get in and out of Surfside into Bell Harbor.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, dude, it was nuts. The amount of and then after that, as we get into Bell Harbor, there's a golf cart, a Bell Harbor golf cart. They got two people on the back, one with an AR-15 and another one with the newest, latest 4K camera to record us the entire time that we walked.
Yeah, that's the
And
type of evidence that you may incriminate yourself with, and they're going to have it on video.
right, and that's why every little intersection we were good. We were good.
Yeah, but they're also getting close-ups of your face and things like that, so they can see if they can match you to something. So who cares? I mean, there's more. But what I was going to say about the Bay Harbor and Bal Harbour back there is Bay Harbor is where you got arrested at, and I'm sorry, Bal Harbour is where you got arrested.
Yeah.
And I never even knew Bay Harbor existed. I knew about the other ones when I was down there and doing some videos. But when they shared that post, I saw it in Florida Carry, and I'm like, why would they even start that? Why would they even name you and start putting your name on there? Why don't they just say a group of people is going to be coming here? I mean, what was the point of identifying you in a public notice when you're doing nothing wrong, your legal activities? It's like, wait a second, paint you as a criminal.
Right. No, well, why even put my first? Why put the arrest? The day the arrest happened, my first, middle, and last. Why put all that information there?
Yeah, and they'll say that, well, it's public record, anybody can find that out. That's why we did it. But no, you're a platform that is ultimately able to distribute to a group of people that is not like me just posting it on my personal Facebook page. You have a select group of people that you can be there, and then I'm sure they have money, they have private investigators. They might look you up and try to do some harm to you because you're down there exercising a right in a public place. That's what I think of it.
Yeah.
It sounds
no, and if you think about Title 18 U.S. Code 241 conspiracy, that's 5 different. Not deprivation of rights, just the conspiracy to deprive rights. Because that's what they took 5 different departments to deprive my rights, or possibly deprive the right, and then they recorded it.
How did they deprive your rights today, though?
They were waiting. Just as if we were walking down the street.
Right.
If they didn't know I was coming, if they had not, they didn't have any knowledge that I was coming, would they have gone to that extent?
No.
So because I was coming, they were recording me, or us as a group, to try to see if one of us would mess up to violate that right. And that's the conspiracy.
That's a conspiracy. But you're in public like that, so you're out there in public filming like I do. So can't they just be there as well?
They can, but with all the posts and them all working in conjunction, that's the conspiracy. They're all working together.
Right. So what I thought, I'm just playing that devil's advocate there. What I thought when I saw that post, and they've had that little line in there about their we're going to consult with the state attorney to find out what we can do and all this other stuff. That would have like chilled me right there. I would have said like, well, man, they're going to be out there just looking for anything and everything to stifle what I'm doing, and therefore, that's probably where your conspiracy to deprivate rights comes in.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
And that was the scariest part. Is when I called Surfside, I had spoke to Captain Healy, and you know me about calling people, but I talked to him, and the first time I talked to him, he gave me a very good, I was like, all right, good, this is going to go smoothly. And then as more information and more departments and more of this happened, I called him back on, I think it was Saturday, and I'm like, look, man, I'm really scared that this is not going to go well. And he's like, I'm like, look, nobody has any ill will, but I am extremely concerned about how things were written in your post. And I'm like, without saying like with the governor's order, and that's what we're going to be specifically talking about, is that governor's order saying, hey, if it's a violent protest, this wasn't a protest, but they very well could have labeled it as a protest because we were carrying firearms.
Yeah. And then,
so, and that was the scary part. That truly was the scary part about all of this.
Yeah. And I got an article on Audit on my page there about that. That one of the writers wrote up there, and he basically wrote about that and how it could be used to do that. Once you, who considers what violent? The Florida statute can define some violent stuff, but they don't define violent in that section there. You know, threats to do violence against someone is under the assault statute, but they don't define it in the statute for the protest. They don't say what violence is. They leave it up to interpretation of who's there.
Yeah. And it's all about, and I know what I think what the governor was trying to say was, like, you know, like some of the riots that had happened in other, like Philadelphia, you know, Minnesota and other places, that was what they were trying to target. But they could also label the person that's openly carrying a firearm as a violent person. They're not doing. I'm not even saying, hey, you know, down with the police or something. I'm just going fishing. You know,
exactly.
And that's what I was trying to say. It was like, this has nothing to do with a riot or a protest. This is just us going fishing.
Yeah.
That's not a riot. It's not a protest. That's not anything. If you're saying I'm protesting, yeah, I'm protesting. I don't catch fish.
You caught one.
Sorry.
It looked like.
Yeah, well, I get lucky.
Yeah. But it's called fishing. But yeah, that's the whole thing too. Like, the thing is, I didn't even know you were doing this. I didn't see it on any social media channels. I didn't see it on anything. And that's the only place that I saw a post was that police department that did that.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Don't learn. But when you go out there, did you cook anything this time, or do anything like that, or just hang out?
No. Because of the nervousness and everything that was going on, I was like, look, I'm just gonna go talk to this the captain of Surfside, verify that we're not gonna get arrested as we come out. If he gives me kind of some, like, if and or maybe, I was gonna cancel the event. As soon as he would have gave me if and or maybe, I would have been like, dude, cancel it. Tell everybody that shows up to not go, because I can't say that they're not going to get arrested if they get out of the car. Exactly. And that's what happened. But he gave me a really positive reaction. I can't remember that captain's name, but Captain Healy in Surfside, they were bar none very good. They were very professional, very forthcoming, and I did talk to them a couple different times. And I'll let everybody know, I normally don't talk to police, but because of this riot law, or this whatever they call this that the governor signed, I felt it was in the best interest to make sure that everybody that showed up would not go to jail for at least, I think the chart, like, if you do get arrested, it's like it could be a month. You could sit in jail for a month for this.
Yeah, no bond too. Yeah, because they have a no bond.
No bond. No, nothing.
So,
and you're not even doing anything violent.
Right.
You know?
So the other thing I was going to say is, when, like, you know, every time I've gone with you on those events, I don't put out the videos usually, but there's always, like, good food there. You do, like, pork shoulder and stuff like that, and it's always fun to do. I always tell people, if you live in Florida and you can drive an hour to come do it, it's, like, so good. But
the food itself is worth it.
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't cost you anything but to drive.
Yeah.
You know, like, think about, you go to that nice restaurant, you're going to get that kind of food when you come to these events or these gatherings.
So you're allowed to eat and have lunch while you're doing fishing, right? I mean, that's legal and lawful.
Absolutely.
Still on an
There's
expedition.
nothing. Yeah,
fishing.
I'm still fishing. As long as I'm fishing, I can, like, if they have like grills and things where I can cook and fish at the same time. I
Okay.
don't have to sit and hold my fishing pole the whole time and be like, I'm fishing. Like
Yeah.
nobody fishes like that. Especially if you throw a line in the water and you put it on the bottom,
Yeah.
you're
You
waiting
sit.
for a bite. And while you're waiting for a bite, you can fire up the grill, cook some steaks,
Most
cook
people
your
are having
pork shoulder.
Coke. Yeah, exactly. Let me see what chat says. They
So
might have questions for you. Uh, someone says hit that like in here. I know it's hard to
yeah.
see it here. Get the thing. Is it in? Does it go there? All right, there we go. But yeah, like that's. I mean, that's what we always did. We always go out there and you sit around. I flew my drone for a little bit, did some
Yeah.
photos, did some video like that, and but meanwhile, I'm still like in the water there. So, but
Yeah. Well,
they did. No one got arrested. No one got charged. I did see him out there with that 4K camera. The guy was outside wearing a mask, like he's hiding his identity. It was just like, if you haven't seen the video, there's a really good video with good audio. It was windy as can be out there, but Soloyaker put it on his channel here, and it was like you could see the guy. It was just like holding the camera with a mask. I get it. We're now habitually wearing masks like that outdoors. I do it too when I'm doing some filming because it helps keep them from that. It's just some mysteriousness, but yeah, it was really crazy. Smoked turkey was awesome in Titusville. Yeah, Dennis was there.
dude,
The
Dennis was
tribe
there.
tribe saying the bathroom incident was bogus. I don't know what that was.
Oh, that was in uh uh not Pinellas. It was on the East Coast. Not Jupiter.
You get blended like me. I can't remember
Anyway,
where
what happened was I was it was the same place where they almost took me to jail.
is that where you got
Pompano Beach,
going
Pompano
down?
Beach,
Okay, Pompano.
Pompano Beach, and I went to Pompano Pier, and there's not a public bathroom on the pier, but there's a public bathroom about 500, maybe 400 yards away from the pier, which is a
Right.
public restroom. Well, the cops came out. When they came out, they did all the walk all the way out, and then they started doing the walk of shame. And then I decided to follow behind them. I was like, "All right, guys, I'm gonna use the bathroom." And I left my fishing pole on the pier in the water, and I was like, "Hey, I'm fishing, but I'm gonna use the restroom." I went to use the restroom. I came back, and they were like, "Oh, no, 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 you can't do that. You can't be the law says you can't friggin' just use the bathroom." And I'm like,
It doesn't say yeah.
"Oh, you want me to just pee off the pier? I got you."
Didn't they get
Yeah,
you for some felony there? And they're like, you can't win, even though there's court cases about peeing in public if you have no other options. I guess you
yeah.
would. But then you still have to fight it in court. You can still get arrested for it, but then you have to
Oh
you
yeah,
have
and
emotions and frame
I'll
and all
take that
that.
ride. Yeah, I'll
I hate it.
definitely take that ride. What I have learned is as much as I love my wife and she hates, she doesn't hate it. She just doesn't like me being arrested. But I will take that ride. At this point, if they want to take that ride, let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'll probably write another article about this one because the last one I did when you got arrested, a lot of people got some good information on it.
Dude,
So this one will be.
we haven't even gotten into the good stuff, dude.
No, I'm
How
not
you
leaving.
how you gonna stop it.
You listen. You have the
Helicopters. We got helicopters. We have helicopters following people.
today.
Helicopters. Today. Yes. I got three boats, over 40 officers. For all y'all that are watching, make sure you hit that little thumbs up and share this with all your friends because the juice is only going to get juicier right at this point. We have helicopters flying over as we were there and as people were leaving. So we've got, we have roughly, and they closed down the Ball Harbor underneath the bridge of Harbor. They closed the entire parking lot.
Why?
Closed it. We're gonna find out. I don't know.
Wow.
When we showed all the cones and everything were like they weren't allowing anybody into Bal Harbor underneath that bridge, and it's
Not even.
normal. I was there a month earlier, and people were parking there and going fishing underneath. Like they were parking there. It's public
Yeah.
parking underneath that bridge, and shut that down completely. So it forced everybody to go to the other side of the bridge and have to walk over.
But
It's because I talked about it.
you could go down there and fish and stuff, but you just couldn't park there.
Yeah, there's probably about 40 parking spots underneath this bridge.
Yeah, I've been
And
there.
they shut it all down. So just think about the people that have a handicap sign that want to go there and fish.
They should have let them in there. They can't deny them. Is if the park is open, they can't
They
deny them.
did. They did. They denied them. Everybody was denied.
Did they? Yeah. So
every inch of that whole place was closed off until we left.
So let's get to the meat and potatoes. Anybody that was with you had a handicap placard?
Yes.
They were denied.
One.
Okay.
I don't know if they were denied but I do know they had a handicap placard.
Check with him if he tried to get in there and he was denied. Then keep note of that. That's always good to hear.
Yeah.
So they're going to or something like that. So they're going to do that. That's great. Now, the guys that you spoke with, I think someone was saying here, no one gave any names. You didn't get any names of the officers on the piers and stuff?
Zero.
Did you ask?
Not one. No. Yeah. Well, not me, but the First Amendment auditors that were there, and I'm just gonna put it FC. FC was there.
Yeah.
And FC asked for names and badge numbers, and denied. Nobody identified. Nobody. Zero.
Wow. Now that tells you something.
We're gonna find out tomorrow.
They want to blast your name.
We're gonna find out tomorrow.
Oh, they want to blast your name all over the internet. Identify you for something you're not even charged with a crime anymore on anywhere. But put you in there and say that you're arrested, but they didn't tell you that the charges were dropped. But then when you have someone to go out there, the law enforcement do not want to even identify. Most of them are CLIA accredited, and CLIA accredited is just a universal policy that the good old boys get together from FDLE and all this other stuff, and they say, hey, let's make it universal so that we don't have to bounce around from all these policies. And all the wording's the same. And all of them say in there that you should identify yourself to the
hey, my name is Joe. My name is Joe something. Yeah. Or my badge number's, you don't even say your name. Just say my badge number's XYZ or whatever it is. And
how do I know?
When I go to, I can say XYZ is who. But, like, it's the same thing. It's like they pull you over. Hey, I'm Officer so-and-so of this, and I'm pulling you over because of this.
Very rarely they do. They come up and say, hey, just need your license registration. None of them say that I'm Officer Soloyaker, the Bal Harbour Police Department. The reason why I stopped you today is because you were just speeding a little bit. They never do that. Just said, just need your license and registration.
No. And
then I'll talk to you.
Right. And even under the law, they're not obligated to do that. But to let's just go back to when I was arrested. If somebody walks up to you and you're carrying a gun and reaches out for your gun,
who are you?
What would you do? Like,
who are you? And
I legitimately have a self-defense issue for anybody that's trying to take my firearm. Whether I shoot them with a rifle or I shoot them, or we're just saying hypothetically, everybody, this is not real. I'm not saying this for real. I just want to make that clear. But any person walks up to me and tries to take my gun, I have every right to defend, to pull out another one and two to the chest, one to the head if I need to.
Well, that's
But
because they arm you from your firearm, then they have your firearm, and then you have nothing. They have everything. I mean,
right.
Is that your house
Not
or
saying
mine?
I'm going to do it. I'm saying hypothetically.
Are those sirens by
That's
you?
here. That's,
All right, cool.
yeah, that's me. That's me.
Yeah, so that's the problem with that. Is like, when cops fail to identify themselves, even if they have a marked patrol car there, the courteous thing and the policy thing is to say that they identify themselves, they do this, they're trained. That's their policy and procedure. They're supposed to know that. Even though it's not law, they should know it. And the only defense you have if an officer does that and comes up to you and you resist them is say, I didn't know what he was. He never identified himself as a law enforcement officer. There's people that fake this all the time. There's many people that get charged and arrested for that same thing. And so he should have identified. That's why they need to do that. They just need to protect themselves too on the side of the law, because they could have.
Yeah.
It was a really serious case if they get something on you.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, I'm not the martyr. I won't be a martyr. But at the same time, it's like, let's just say it was a plainclothes officer that walked up and tried to do the same thing, and at this point, I really don't know.
Yeah.
What happened. And that's like 95%, 99% of most of the times I go out, nothing happens. People are, if they don't agree, they just they kind of turn their head, go the other way. They might, say whatever they want to muffle, whatever.
Johnny a face head on a swivel.
Only law enforcement's the only one that's ever tried to really trip my gun.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Let's see what some of your chat says. Conspiring against legal citizens doing his thing. That's it. They know their policy. It's not enforced. Yeah, that's it. Don't doubt James. Yep. Johnny face exactly. The tribe says correct. Put them on defense. And it's so hard. All these little stuff. Guys, it's literally a cul-de-sac with a police department on the end of it. That's what this is. I'm telling you, it's like you drive down your road and there's a cul-de-sac. Well, there's a few cul-de-sacs, but it's like that's what these places are, and they have more money than you can imagine, because these residents in there want to just be like, hey, yeah, we want a police department. So who do you work for? You work for a small knit group of them, and if they don't want you there, they shut it down.
What I would tell anybody, like after whatever, when we're done, look up Bay Harbour, not Ball Harbour. Ball Harbour is about 2 miles. Ball Harbour is only 2 miles long. That's maybe a half mile wide. 2 miles long, half mile wide. You look at Bay Harbour. Bay Harbour is like a 300-400 square foot little island.
I'm gonna pull it up here on my screen. And if you go to your Google and you put it, see that little outline there? That outline is what Bay Harbour is. Let me see if I can pinch and zoom in.
That's it.
That's it right there.
This Bay Harbour is, and what you don't know about all these little, all those homes in there, not one of them goes for less than about $3 to $5 million. Dude, there's a house in Bell Harbor right now that's for sale for about $1 million. And it's got 10 rooms, or 11 rooms, 12 bathrooms, infinity pools, sits on the bay of Biscayne Bay, has an ocean view because it's got some, it's like they've got pillars on the inside that are like 40 foot high. Like these towns with where we were at are very, very Jewish community, and I'm not bashing Jews or nothing, not saying that. It's just a very Jewish community. It has a lot of money, and they have their very independent police departments within small areas.
So these are personal police departments, essentially.
Essentially, because Port Orange, how big is Port Orange? And you can't say Port Orange is like 15 times the size of that little friggin' island.
I don't think.
Little friggin'. Go ahead.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Port Orange is probably 150 times to 200 times to 400 times. It's large, and Port Orange has 80,000 people or something like that. Where that one has something like 2,000.
If that.
Yeah. So yeah, these are personal police departments. That's what these are. These are exactly what they are.
Yeah, and because they got money, it's all about the money, you know.
So
and most people tell them about the $75 million in Bell Harbor.
Yeah. Oh, so I think I did that part of my story there. They were Bay Harbor. Well, no, it was Ball Harbor. Ball Harbor was laundering money with the cartels or something like that, right? They were doing a laundering sting, and they were getting like 3% of the money to launder this as part of the investigation or something like that. I think that's what it was. But it turned out they got like $75 million, and it was like this legalized laundering extortion ring that went directly to two police departments. I can't remember the other name of the other one.
It was both of them. It was regardless. Bell Harbor was an FBI. They were investigated by the FBI.
Yeah, they were investigated by the FBI, and then they had to return a lot of the money, I think, too, didn't they?
Yeah. From what I know, no. Nobody has ever been charged for any of this.
So where's the money at?
Probably in that golf cart, that 4K camera, the AR-15s that they were carrying, the overtime that the 40 officers had today. Like, that's where I think it all is.
Yeah. So that's it is. They did a money laundering ring under the color of the law, and we're doing it with drug lords, if you will, and they got away with it. And they got the money too.
Yeah. A hot mess says 71.5 million was laundered.
Yeah, and I think they got 3% of that. You'd have to, there's a whole bunch of articles on it. You can grab them.
Oh yeah, type it in.
But no one got charged. That's so. Those are the people that you're dealing with. They don't want you there. They want to be able to do what they want. They want to be able to keep that under wrap. And like I said, Bay Harbor, I didn't even know they were there until they posted that. Now we know them.
Yeah. You know, and like I said, when we go back to the arrest, you know, I told them, like I specifically told them, I was like, call your state attorney, and that's when I realized they didn't give two shits about my rights. Yeah, I'm like, talk to your state attorney and see if they want to charge me, and they didn't do that. They didn't want to even try to, you know, let's say they detain me until they talk to the state attorney.
Right.
I had to wait 2 months for them to figure out that the state attorney wasn't going to prosecute.
Yeah, so a lot of people, if what we're talking about with the state attorney here, you might hear DA, that's district attorney, or SA. We call it SAO here, but every police department has an on-call state attorney representative. It's one of the state attorney officials that are there, and you can call him anytime. Chris Walker was the one that was here. Only the supervisor was able to call him in the police department, and maybe a couple of proactive officers, but he would just be like, hey, this is what I got. And I got this right here. He's going fishing somewhere. And they would have told him over the phone, listen, he's able to go do that. Don't arrest him. Take a couple pictures of him, but let him go on his way because he's legal and lawful. Yeah. That's what they've done. That was
even with Titusville, what I have learned is I will never call an attorney while I'm recording ever again. It's You don't want that, because the client privilege thing goes kind of out the window at that point.
Here's it,
So
because now,
anybody, just if you're about to get arrested, either take the arrest or don't don't record you talking to your lawyer on the phone.
right, because you pierce
Because
the client privilege.
right,
Because
it kind of, you lose. Yeah.
I think you would lose. I don't know if they would do some, but you probably know better. But I think you would lose that portion of attorney-client privilege if you said something over the phone. Then that's now admissible, because even though you're talking to your attorney, you did it in a public setting, overheard, and it's
Right. It gives them a little bit more leeway, and da da da. Your best bet is either take the walk or fight. And I'm not saying, when I say fight, you can do your verbal judo, but
legal.
if your verbal judo ain't working, just take the ride. And unfortunately, you're gonna have to take the ride. And I don't like it. I hate it. I don't want to take the ride.
Yeah, it sucks, because
But
just like that, I picked you up, I brought you pizza, you didn't want to eat anything, you're just like, I just want to go home, go to bed.
yeah, dude,
Yes.
I was in a miserable state. In like, literally, when you picked me up, I think it was like 2 hours prior to that. That's when I found out about the charges, and the charges were like, oh, it's felony, this, and this, and that. And I was like, I saw my wristband and it said felony, and I'm like, what kind of felony did I do? Like, I didn't harm anybody. I didn't kill anybody. I'm like, I didn't do anything to anybody. And
Yeah,
then he explained it, and then that's when I was just like, all right, well, talk to my lawyer. That's when I shut up. Because even when I was talking to them, like, they're like, oh, you recorded somebody. I'm like, yes. I'm like, I'm not going to deny it. It's on YouTube. Yes, I recorded somebody and I posted it. Yes. And they just kept trying to poke little parts and try to dig something out of me. And I was just like, they asked one wrong question. I was just like, you need to talk to my lawyer at this point. I'm done.
yeah.
Like, there were things it wasn't like I was answering questions, but it was just like, yeah, I did record this. I did do this. Yes. It's on YouTube. I'm not going to deny that.
Even then, my recommendation is never talk to the police, even when it's like that. Even if you're saying,
at this point, I'm going fishing. What else do you need from me? See ya later.
that's it.
Done. I'm
Yeah,
done.
the first question you always want to ask, if you're there, is this a consensual conversation? If they say yes, it is, then move along. If you want to have a camera out and you want to play some brain wrestling, then do it. But if you are going to literally sit there after they say that you are in a consensual encounter, they're going to listen to anything that you say, and then eventually that's going to turn into a detainment. So if they say it's a consensual, they say they're detained, say, I don't have anything to say to you, I don't want anything to say to you, then you have to provide their ID. If they
I'm
have,
done.
yeah, and they don't have to provide RAS right there on the spot. It's a good way to get them to slip up and maybe get that, but they can say that I'm investigating a crime, and that's it. And then you say, well, what crime is it? And then if they say suspicion, then you can throw it out there like, is that a felony or misdemeanor? Well, what is suspicious then? And then you can get them on that, but they can still, force that hand at you. I think with Ackermana, that's what they're doing there, saying that she owes them an ID, and in fact they didn't. I don't think there's anything wrong here. So, but that's about Florida.
Yeah, I've been digging deeper into the whole fishing license thing, and even if I didn't, let's just say I was just out open carrying fishing and I didn't have a fishing license, it's still only a fine. So technically, I'm not saying I am, not saying I'm not. I'm just saying, even if I don't produce a fishing license, they can only fine me for something.
I don't think they can. I really don't. Remember, we've talked about this. And if you're listening, chat, legal advice, because if you if you can be fined, then you are not lawfully fishing in Florida, right?
Yeah. No. Yes or no? It's both. If I have a fishing pole and I'm going fishing, whether I have a fishing license or not. I'm breaking the fishing law by not having a fishing license produced by the state.
Right.
And that's $100 fine the first time, and then the second time it's a little bit different, and the third time it's a little bit different. But
and that's correct. But if you're going to a place that requires that fishing license and you don't have it, and you're going there to fish on your fishing expedition, I have a feeling that you're going to get popped with open carry, and they're going to get you for the fine. They're going to call FWC and make sure that they write you a ticket for it, and then they're going to say, "Are you complete with your investigation?" Yes. You're now under arrest for open carry.
Yeah, well, the good thing is I always have a fishing license.
Always have a fishing license.
Yeah, but the weird thing is like, oh, maybe you can help me understand this. What defines a commission officer?
A commission officer? I don't know.
Correct. Because that's if you look into 379.354 of the Florida statutes, it says commission officer.
Was it 4 for the junior bacon cheeseburgers?
Okay, you said 244 with both of them with junior bacons.
Yeah, that should be fine.
And where's both drinks?
That will be sweet tea if you have it. If not, then just Sprite. Sorry, I ordered food.
Okay.
Sweet tea.
Or no?
No, we do not.
Oh, don't.
And anything you else got for free? Can I get anything for free today?
Okay, or...
No, hold on. Let me see. I don't think I have a card on me. This is why I don't have my...
All right, everybody, go to James Madison's PayPal, throw him some friggin' cheddar so he can get his friggin' sweet tea.
Got the card. Order. Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
And what's the sauces?
I don't know. What is it? What are we doing?
Barbecue. Barbecue, dude. That's a go-to every time.
Anything else?
No, that's it. Thank you.
852.
All right, thanks. I just ordered the wrong thing. It was 4 sandwiches. It's like 4 for $4, but it's like fries, this, and this. I was like, I just screwed up. I ordered the whole wrong thing, but that's right. I'll take it home.
Happy wife, happy life, dude.
So like the tribe saying, never talk to the police. And let's get back to that in the meat and potatoes so we can cut this up. If a police officer stops you, and this is not legal advice, I'm not an attorney, but you want to ask them if it's a consensual encounter. And if it's not a consensual encounter, thank you. If it's not a consensual encounter, then the next thing you want to do is say, am I free to go? And if he says, no, you're not free to go, because you can trip him up like that. Yeah, you can go ahead and go. And if he says, no, you're not free to go, then you stay there. And then you can ask those questions like, well, what is the detainment for? What crime do you suspect me of? And you can play that game with him. And then if he says, well, I suspect you of doing this, tell me about it. And then you just say, listen, I don't have anything to say to you. That's it. I'm done. I don't want to talk. Because no matter what you say, they can use it against you any which way that they want. Even if they're investigating, thank you so much. Even if they're investigating one single thing about you, then they can say, oh, well, yeah, by the way, you just told me that you were coming from over here, and we just had someone claim that there was someone scaring them with a firearm. Well, now you got another charge over here. You just don't talk to them. The more you talk to them, the more these little lines start to try to get you on things.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
And we run 100%. We're doing it out there, and we're talking to these guys and recording them. They're like, yeah, keep recording, because we'll just subpoena your camera. They'll subpoena everything.
Yeah.
So we run a fine
just
line.
To let everybody know.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Finish your statement.
Yeah, we run a fine line when we're out there recording of saying something to them that can be used against us all day long. Because we do want to get that for you. So you're like, all right, because we get it. This is a boring audit. It's great to have boring audits. But then when someone comes up and they're like, they ask you a question, you're like, all right, yeah, you mind if I pat you down? You ask the officer like that. It's kind of funny. But then they're like, well, it made me fear that he was going to pat me down. So I didn't know if he was going to touch me, and then this and that. So I investigated a battery on the Leo case, an attempted battery on Leo. I don't know if that's what he's doing. That's the sadness that could come about that. Or when I joked with an officer the other day that said, "Hey, can I get a ride along with you?" And he says, "No, we don't do ride alongs." I was like, "I know how to get a free ride along. Let me tap your trainee on the side here and bop him in the shoulder."
Yeah.
That's a ride along. Jokes and laughed about it. It wasn't that. I'd probably
You
never.
were Road Nation when you did that too, bro. That was fucking classic. Like, if I slap your buddy or something, you're like, I'm gonna get a free ride.
But that's the scary part about talking to police. And even when you're open carrying, you need to keep it to a minimum and just say, well, I'm going fishing. I'm on a fishing expedition per Florida law. That's where I'm headed right now. And they've even had stuff to you checking your dry line, see if your line was dry, and bait and everything.
It doesn't end, dude. My fishing pole is inoperable. Well, guess what fishing pole I had? That same inoperable fishing pole. That same inoperable fishing pole is friggin' what I was fishing with today.
Well, every time I go with you have something for me. I was like, hey, man, can I get a lure? And I'm like, I have this freshwater. I'm going to borrow saltwater. I'll give you the freshwater one.
Like,
so what's the next
like
then?
Let's just say, like, investigations, right? If you investigated my life in a general, you could find out that I've been a professional fisherman. I've got a Facebook group called Snook Lives Matter. I've got almost 6,000 subscribers or 6,000 followers on that. I've got numerous videos of me freaking catching fish in a kayak in every which way or form. There's no doubt that I can go out and fish, but activism in fishing, the fishing is kind of on the back burner, and the activism's paramount. I put the activism saying, hey, because I'm allowed to fish, and that's I do generally try to catch fish, but it's about educating and me carrying, whether it's a handgun or a rifle or whatever I'm carrying, it's about the education and trying to teach people. It's like, hey,
Exactly.
You know, the only way to make a difference carrying a camera is to show people that you can do it.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Well, did we talk enough here? We did about an hour with these guys and all the fans here.
Yeah.
And, it's crazy.
For sure, man.
Yeah, I was saying, like I said, when I was talking to you on the phone, I was like, oh, let's do it live, you know. So.
Yeah. Wait till you see. There's gonna be requests coming. Like I said, they had 3 boats, helicopters, and at least 40 different officers out there. So every person that was out there that day will be getting their phones and everything friggin' dumped.
Make sure that you do get the helicopter footage because they can zoom in pretty good there, and they'll show you exactly what.
Oh yeah, dude. We had people leaving, and they, like, the people that were going to Oliver side, they literally just circled around. They were just circling around them, just watching them, because they had some kind of like little farmers market or something going on right there, and they were all like, you know, like, I get people are concerned, but all the people that we talked to didn't seem that concerned. You know?
That's what it is. A lot of people just don't know. They're like, oh, you can? Oh, cool. All right, cool. Yeah, that's nice.
All right, see. Oh, there's 20 friggin' officers everywhere. Oh, those guys carrying guns and the police are here. Ah, they can do that. 2 + 2 = 4, everybody. So, like I always say, don't forget to hit that like, share, and that subscribe button, all that good stuff. Thank you, James Madison. You're the man. I love you.
I do have one thing to say at the end of this here, because, you know, the only people.
Go ahead. Yeah.
I did a public records request for the video that they had on their YouTube page and deleted. I'm just pulling in my garage here, so I'm just doing that. They deleted a public records request, but the only people that are committing crimes that we know of in this little bubble that we're talking in is the Bay Harbor Police Department. Did you know that?
Yeah, because of what they're doing.
No. What I'm doing is, what I'm saying is, the Bay Harbor Police Department did this rap video sing over thing. This
Oh yeah, the gun pointed.
They had, no, not even that. Forget about the guns. They were out and about holding ARs and doing, like, you know, these little videos for this lip sync challenge, and they were using real firearms, whether they were loaded or unloaded, and that is a violation of the law. You can't do that.
No.
The only people breaking laws here. That is Bay Harbor Police Department. When I called them out about that, that's why they took the video down. I don't know if you know that or not, but they took the video down because I
didn't know that.
I called them out in my video, and I asked them that in Facebook Messenger. I asked them that somewhere else, and I was like, why are you guys the only ones that are allowed to break the law and open carry when you're not doing a training exercise? And then I talk about, like, muzzle flashing too. Like,
yeah, no, dude, the ARs and the handguns were all being pointed at everybody. Like, I felt bad for the cameraman. The cameraman was the one that was really taking the brunt of it.
Yeah, I mean,
at least 4 to 5 times he got flagged.
They'll say that they had a firearms instructor there and they cleared the barrel and did this and that. If you and I are out and about somewhere and you're standing there and you hand me a gun, this is how you hand me a gun. And if you don't hand me this gun like this, don't hand me the gun. So
here, take my gun. Let me point it at you while I do it.
No, this is it right here. This is what I carry in my Glock 27. When you say, hey, can I see your gun? This is what you do. The magazine is dropped. This comes out. That's like that. I then take this empty firearm, point it to the sky, show you that it's clear. Then you look in there and you inspect it clear. I then turn it and point it in a safe direction and hand it over to you.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
While it's still open.
It's still, I don't go back and re-rack it and be like, all right, it's racked. Here you go.
Yeah.
That is how it's handled. Like that.
That's an empty firearm.
This is an empty firearm.
Empty firearm right there.
Pointing at myself. I'm showing you there. You can see in the camera. You can see that it's totally empty all the way through. There's nothing in the chamber here. You can visually inspect it, and then that's it. It's not pointed at me even right now, and I don't point a firearm at me at all. Even after you do
that, you still don't point it at somebody. Let's just.
Yeah.
It's just that the whole. I didn't even see the whole, like, lip sync thing they were doing. I just saw what you posted. I'm just like, oh, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad. And these just doing this for what? For lip syncing? Like, let's just talk about what? Crazy.
All right, that's it. So that was the last word I had to say there, is that Bay Harbor is the only one that I can see that violated.
They're all gonna get it, dude. They're gonna get it. I'm not gonna. They're not gonna get left alone now. just as bad as I triggered West Palm, I just triggered friggin' Miami again.
Yeah, I'm not going to the next.
All right, brother. I thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Subscribe.
Later.